Well, less than a week after Donald Trump pulled the United States, of course, out of the Paris climate change agreement, his Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, is at a clean energy summit in Beijing. He plans to explain why the Paris Climate Accord doesn't work for the United States. However, opinion clearly split in the United States. California's Governor Jerry Brown, also in town for the summit, he has an entirely different offering. Brown says California will independently cooperate with China on clean technology emissions and other climate-positive opportunities.
We're not on the right track yet, and I want to state that very clearly. The world is not doing enough. We're on the road to a very negative and disastrous future unless we increase the tempo of change. And we face not just a technical barrier, we face political barriers. There are still some in powerful places who are resisting reality, who are resisting the obvious science that we know governs our lives. Now, the threat of climate change is not of the same nature as the fascist forces that were threatening the world. But in some ways, it may even be more devastating.
Well, Yuan Ying is a climate and energy assistant manager at Greenpeace, and she's in Beijing right now and joins us now from there. Yuan Ying, what do you make of this split in the United States front? You've got Jerry Brown and you've got Rick Perry coming to Beijing with very different explanations of America's position.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a very crucial time to have this clean energy ministerial meeting in Beijing, especially in this timing with Trump withdrawing from Paris Agreement. So I can feel like all the ministers, participants from the industry and from the financing world and from non-profit sectors, like people are moving towards one direction with more like unified front and with more like a sense of urgency right now. I think we are aiming for the same direction, that is to speed up the transition, whatever energy transition or economical transition in this special time.
What do you think the Clean Energy Summit in Beijing's priority is this year?
I think we bring up several important issues in the meeting, but I would say the utmost important thing is how to make sure the clean energy economy transition is happening in this different or difficult time. So I can hear political leaders, investors, as well as industry peoples are very concerned of finding solutions to move forward and to speed up the process.
Are people hopeful there that one day the clean energy technology can completely replace fossil fuels?
There will be like a lot of efforts and works we need to do, but I would say like the direction is very positive and very promising. So speaking of the economical performance of the wind farms, of the solar power plants, it's very promising. Like in China, we are in the process of discussing the wind farms grid parity things. That means that the wind electricity generation is going to be as comparable as fossil fuels. So that's something very solid to prove economically speaking, the renewable energy can be economically viable as the fossil fuels.
One final question. There has been some criticism from some sources that wind turbines, solar panels use a lot of chemicals and metals which are themselves not environmentally friendly. What do you make of that?
I'm a little bit surprised of getting this kind of comments because this kind of like perception is a bit outdated. Like several years ago, when the solar panels and solar power plants is taking off, people have this kind of questions. But I can put it very clearly that the technology the solar companies are using right now is quite advanced, so which can make sure the manufacturing process is pollution-free and emission-free, as well as with low energy consumption.
Yuan Ying in Beijing, thank you so much for your analysis. Appreciate it.